Hello folks, Key of W here with more. I was about to say Islands of Insight, I swear. I was gonna say it. It was on my mind. This is not Islands of Insight. Same developers, similar vibe, better game. Love Islands of Insight, but I love this one more. So anyway, progress-wise, we've gone to the end of the game and done whatever puzzle unlocks the rest of the game. We're going back to the beginning and we're going to now take all these windows and bejewel them. So I'm in the town area. This is an early part of the game. We've got 7 more puzzles in this area that will let me gild this window, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to do all 7 in this video. It depends on how long they take. I might even progress a little further. But we'll see. I'm going to start with this puzzle. It's a 5. And it is, oh boy. We're starting with one. I feel like I'm going to dislike this. Again, we have complicated shapes I have to rotate in my mind. They're not that complicated. It looks like in this zone here, we have a couple variations. We either have this shape like so, or we have this. Oh, is it this way? Yes, this way or this way. So we have 3 variations, but what overlaps? So this is one version of the thing. Let me make these all separate. That is one version of this. Yes, I know. Give me a second. Now, if I make the other version of this, it would go up these 4, here, there, and everywhere. And then the other version of that is this. Unfortunately, there is no single thing, right? I could do that better. This is not how I'd want to do it. So I'd want to set it up so that which are the cells that are always used. So not this one. I'm going to block that in. So now when I do this version, we can't use that cell because it's not in every single one. Now with this version that goes here, it didn't use that cell. And then the version that comes up and takes these cells here doesn't use this cell. So all of these are part of the cell there. Hold on, here are these borders. All of these are part of the same universe, and we have to do that. There's no way around that. Yeah, it can't be either of these nubs because we would need another one down here. So we have to have it this edge or this edge here. So it's just a matter of what piece is missing there, which means you have another nub here. But if we had this one being this shape here, we would have to take that spot. That spot is always used by the other shape. Let's call shape A and shape 1. So shape 1 here will always take a spot that shape A or 1 must, if it's that. If this is shape 1, it will always take a spot. It must be shape A, and it must not be this piece either because it will, it could be that. This is a possible thing for that shape. It also could be this shape or that shape. We have a couple options for how this shape is presented. So if we do it this way, that's great. I mean, once again, it could take all of these cells. Now it also could take these cells here. So those are not required. But it did take, yeah, it took all these, or it could take that. But that's not a required cell, neither is that. But I think no matter what, it takes these 5. So I think we have this required. How does this help me in the slightest? How about this wonderful corner? What do I do in this corner? So in this corner, if it was this piece here, which piece would it be? It can't be this nub. In fact, it has to be one of these edges. So it would be this shape. That is the only way to do the shape here. That is not the only way to do the shape. This is the other way. But either way, I create an orphan piece. So this is shape A. The only way to do shape A here is to make this... This is the only way to do the shape now. Which does give us a little more information here, because this can no longer be shape A. Or shape 1, it has to be shape A. And it has to be these pieces. Which means that this one now must be... Yeah. So over here, we have to do it again. We have to take these spots and put it there. So we got some like real jigsaw puzzle bits here. And in fact, I think that's how it's going to go. We've got 4 pieces across. We need to put 4 pieces across here and 4 pieces across here. And so the pieces that are here have to be in these 3 and then these 3. That is for sure. And now we have to have a jigsaw puzzle piece here that takes that. And then this jigsaw puzzle piece has to take these. Right? If I think of them as jigsaw puzzles. Now, which piece would I want to use? Now, I don't have any corner pieces, right? No, I have corner I can use, sort of. I could do the piece like this. Like, what if I made these and then did the corner trick again, just swapped them like this, right? I just put the reds in the corners, the purples in the corners, and put the greens like that. And then I can just repeat this. No, that gotta be... It would be this. It would be a repeat of the yellow piece, essentially. Ah, but I don't have that, so I'd have to set it up like this. And set up the blue piece like so. Which I can't really do unless I set up another piece like this. Is this gonna work? It is. Can't say I'm a fan of that one. Sorry. Start off with the one I don't really like. How about in this cage? All regions. Again with the shapes, man. At least it's pentominoes. So it's an L pentomino and I don't even remember what to call this one. It's not an S. It's something. An N. I don't know. Is this called the N? This might be the N pentomino. Well, what's going to go there? If it's the L, it definitely has to be like this. And that works because we can fit an N pentomino there. We can also fit an N here. Which works. Okay. There's a couple options there. I don't like that. This is the only option for an L pentomino in here. N pentomino would have to be... Wait, hold on. Is there any way an N pentomino could go in here any other way? It's got to be 3 up. So it can't be 3 sideways, right? Like this 3 up. Here it doesn't fit anywhere. So we do in fact have to have an N pentomino there. Then what do I do here? What would I do here? Yeah, this now we can't put anything here. So there's no N pentomino at all. It has to be instead 2 L's. Right? Now I can't put an L in here because it needs to be 4 across, so it would have to go there, which cause a problem. Or here, or there. No, that can be an L. That's fine. We can put an N pentomino there, and L's. Is there another spot? Don't really care for guessing. This spot here, if it doesn't move down, it moves left, which would force that space, and then it would force this space, and then I have nothing to put there. So I think whatever's in this spot has to move down. Yeah, so I think that's forced. This piece can move out, or it can move up. Either way, it's got those 3 to start. Right? I Again, we can just, these are forced. Up here, what goes in that space? This cannot be part of any L, right? Only L it can be part of is that, and then we cause a problem. So this is part of an N. This would break it because we would require just one of those two. So that's for sure, which means it has to go down, and then it has to go to the right. And it has to go at least that far. It could go one more. No, if it goes one more, what goes here? It can't be an L shape, and an N shape would come out. Oh, it's still okay. Which means this shape has to be the L, and it has to take these four. And whether it goes to the right or left, we don't know, but it stops there. So I know these are in. What goes in this space? If it's the L, if we were to assume that's an N though, let's say we just do that, let's say we block it off and say that's an N, this now has to be an L. And then there's nothing we can fit in here because the N would cause a problem. So I think we have to take the L up, take this up, and then take this L out. No, because now we don't have anywhere we can put these. That's not right. Let's head back. Because, yeah, think about if we have the L come here, there has to be an N there. But if we have an N out here, we always cover that space. This can never be. So if the N comes out there, I didn't consider this possibility. Which kind of seems like the only one now. Kind of seems like this is the only way I can solve the puzzle. Yeah. Interesting. Felt pretty middling on that one. We got a 6, we got a 7, we got a 6. All right, let's work our way up to those. Is that all we got? We got 5 left. Oh, there's something down here. There's a 4. Regions must be this shape. Okay. Well, I think this is a gimme right here. Because it has to be this shape. Now this one right here has to come out and be that shape. Which I think is the same as this shape here, right? Now this, we have to have our thing like, I think that can't be right. It has to be like that. Which means we have this one here. We do it again. This can't be it. It's got to be there. Or that? Don't know for sure on that side. Actually, hold on. Oh. If we were to set this up, I think every possible version, because there's only 2 possible versions, this breaks the puzzle, because then what do we put here? Right? We have to have something here that doesn't work. This breaks the puzzle because now we need to put something up here. And this would cause a problem, and this would cause a problem as well, because we just don't have anything for that. So I think we have to set it up this way. That force it. And then I think we can't have this, because then we would need to set ourselves up here. So I think we have to bring it up over the top, which forces us to do at least that. Could be here. No, it can't be that. It has to be this way. Okay, this definitely feels like guesswork. Yeah, this can't be right. Because then what do I put here? The end. I could do it the other way. No, this is the way I just did it. Well, this doesn't work either. Could do it this way instead. It would have to be here. Then we would force this move. Right? I think we've got a start here. Yeah. Okay, is there a version of these puzzles that isn't just a complicated shape? Let's try this. Ah, it's a complicated shape. All regions must be the shape of the one. All right, is there any other way I could do this aside from that? Right? It's not the base. If I did that, yeah, it doesn't fit. I think this is a required set. What comes out of here? I have a feeling it's this. What else could it be? If I brought it straight out 3 across, it's either here or it's there. Now, if it's this spot, I would have to bring it this way, which causes the problem. If it's up, it goes that way. But if it doesn't go up, it bends, then what spot are we looking at? I don't know if any spot looks like this. Because every just bend of an elbow has something sticking out of it in a direction I can't go. So I think this is the way. Do I get anything from this spot? We have to move out. We can't move up. But I can't do this. If I were to block this spot, then how on earth would I make this shape? Yeah. Every elbow is also part of a T-piece. So this is the only T-piece we have. And then we'd have to... yeah, so we do have to bring it out 3 spaces. Could we bring it out 4? Yeah, I could bring it out 4 spaces too. That does... No. 4 spaces is only this way. So no. That orphans a piece here. So... this can't happen because there's no real L space in there. So it is this way, and therefore that's the space. I have a couple options here. That's one of them. The other one would be here. Is there any other space I can do? This one? If I take this space out, this has to be part of a T. Every edge is part of a T. So this is part of a T. Yeah. This part of a T, you can think of it as part of a T shape. This is part of a T shape, which means it has to go further because it's not the center edge or whatever of the T. That is required, which means it has to be part of a T shape here and it has to be part of that. Which means we'd have to have a T shape here as well. And then this, and I have to go down. Making a T shape here. And that finishes us off. Maybe that's the way to think of it. Is everything is part of a T shape somewhere. This is part of a T shape. And that's done. I think we're going to be forced down here to make that move. T shape here would have to be like that. A T shape in this segment would have to be like that. Now we get a T shape here, which has to move that way, which I believe is now going to force us to make this T shape so we can make one right here. And I think the puzzle is as good as solved. Yep. Here we go. All right. I respect this one. It is requiring me to do something with the funky shape, but I respect that. All right, we're down to the last three. Is that right? Last three, and they are hard puzzles. Let's see if I can do them all in this video. If not, I will make a separate video for those. Here's a sixer. All regions must be one of these shapes. Got a P shape, a C shape, and an S shape, or a Z shape. What do you want to call this pentamino? All right, I'm going to use yellow for pieces I don't know. Now we could either have a P shape here, a C shape here and lose, or a Z shape and lose. So I think this game is starting us off with a free one. Now down here we could do a P shape. We can't do a C shape or a Z shape. So I think, yeah, the game is saying, there you go. There's a free one. You have to have a P shape there. This can't be a P shape. It can be a C shape or a Z shape, but it has to take these pieces, which means we have to take these pieces as well. Any other freebies here? This piece can't move to the right. If it moves to the right, how does it make a P shape? How does it make a C shape? Orphans a piece. And it can't make a Z shape. So that has to be there. But now what goes here? It must be a P shape. And then here must be a P shape. And here must be a P shape. And here must be a loss, because I can't fit any shapes in here. All right, let's go back. Could this be any other piece? No. Well, if I cross this border, C shape is bad. Ah, that's a C shape. I didn't think of that. Would this work? Yeah, this would work. I don't know if it's correct, but it would work. So that didn't answer any question for me. This shape could be anything? How about here? It has to extend out this far, but then it could be a C or this, or even a Z piece. Not super helpful. This space is a lot can go in these spaces. How about this corner? We either have a P shape going one of these two directions, or we have a C shape, which would go this direction. It can't be a Z shape, because the Z shape in this corner would have to take that spot, which doesn't exist. So no. So these three are part of the same shape regardless, which means this is a new shape. This could be a P shape here and lose. Nope. This could be a P shape here, which is fine. It could also be a P shape going this way. It can't be a C shape anywhere. It could be a Z shape here. So these three are required. Right? No. This is required. Because you could also have a P shape. Yeah, there's no way not to take this space. So now this can't be a P shape going there. Or sorry, it can't be a P shape going there, but it could be a P shape going here, going there, or C shape. There's a lot of places that can go. So I got something, but that's not a lot. This piece can't be part of the above. This can't move that way. Yeah, it could. It could make C shapes above. It could make a P shape here as well. Can this be part of a Z shape? This would be how it does a Z shape. That blocks in a 4. This causes a problem there. So this is not a Z shape. If this is a C shape, could be that way, could also be that way. Is there any way it's there? P-shape. Yeah. Okay, so I just know that's a separate piece to the one up here. That's really not helpful. All right, back down to this corner. I ruled that this couldn't be a P shape going through here, but it could be this, but this P shape would cause a problem in there. So it's not a P shape here. It's not a Z shape here. So it is required to be a C shape, and the only way that you can do it is that. So how do you get out of this zone? You can't have a P shape here, because obviously that doesn't work. This doesn't work either, because we can't have any sort of T shapes going on. So it could be another C shape there and a Z shape. That's one way out. In fact, it's the only way out. Because, yeah, we can't fit a Z shape down here. This is the only Z shape we can fit. That or that. So we are stuck with this, which is going to require... Can't put a Z shape or a C shape here. It's going to require a P shape, which I think requires a P shape here. Right? This is the only Z shape that works. Obviously, orphans things. This C shape makes an orphan. This C shape makes an orphan. So we have another P shape there. And then what goes in this corner? Right? This can't be part of a P shape. It could be C shape. But this C shape is going to break the puzzle here, I think. Right? I think this breaks the puzzle because then it would force this to be a P shape. And then what shape goes there? So that can't be the C, so it would have to be another Z shape like this. Which means this can't be a C shape anymore, because the C shape would cause an orphan. So it's here. It can't be like this, we don't have any T-shaped things going on, so it has to be this, making this another Z shape. I think, actually, this is going to just solve it for us. I think we're going to have this set up just right. Okay, then this piece here can't be a C or a Z, so it has to be a Z or a C, so it has to be a P. I don't think this is a P shape, but what? I think it's a C. Yes, this is a C shape. That's what it is. P shape goes here, Z shape goes there. Fantastic puzzle. All right, another sixer. We're going to do it. We got small O's and big O's. Huh. How do we break in? I don't want this to be a guess where the break-in puzzle is, because it's going to turn into another guessing game like one of the other puzzles I did. This corner looks promising. How many spaces up do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is a great number because we don't know how many of each we have here. Well, I know we have to have this happening. That is guaranteed. We also have to have two separate pieces here. This one has to have 3. This has to have 2. Oops. There. Actually, if this is its own box, we're screwed. So these actually need to be 2. This is our break-in, I think. Now, we don't know the arrangement of these. Like, it could be 2 more boxes, but it could also be the boxes go in this way. We don't know. So I'm going to leave this alone. I just know that these all have to be connected. In here... don't really have an answer for this one, because if I move this all the way over, we didn't break the puzzle at all. It's still fine. Right? Well, if I were to have this kind of thing go on, I would be forced to make this move, which would force a 3 here, which would break the puzzle, I think. So I think that can't be the case. Right? Let me extend that further. I think I've logically worked out why that doesn't work. This doesn't work. The reason is we are forced to make this piece here. We can't put a regular one because now what goes there? So big O has to go here. Which forces a regular O here, which forces us to put 3x4 space. There's no possible arrangement of this that works. Everything breaks. So we can take that back and figure out, therefore, that if the purple piece doesn't extend this far, it must extend at least one space that way. Now, if it extends one more here, we are forced to make this move. And then we'd be forced to make this move. This really feels like guessing and checking, but I don't know a better way to do this particular type of puzzle. But we couldn't put a separate thing here. Therefore, this would have to be a red piece as well. And that breaks the puzzle, I think. So I think it has to go out this way, which would force this move. And then we would have separate ones here. But how do I get stuff in this space? I can't ever have that happen. So I would have to do that. This is how you'd have to do this section, right? Which now gives me that. Gives me that, and now we're broken the puzzle here. So this doesn't work either. Going all the way back. So something about the logic of this doesn't logic up. Oh. But we know we have to have this. We have to have these. I guess we can do this logic too. Here, we have to have purple and red because it's 5, which means these are part of the same purple set. But they can't go that way unless they went up. That's fine. This is also 5, which means we have to have purple here. So I think that's required. Okay, maybe this is the way you do it. Now this has to be red. You can't put a red here because it's going to cause a problem somewhere. So I think that. Didn't I already do this and prove it doesn't work? I don't think so. I think when I did this thing, I did something wrong down here. I think that's what I did. I need to have purple in these spots. Reason is, it's either going to be this or it's going to be that. This puzzle's fine. It's not my favorite, but there's nothing wrong with it. If this comes out, we have to put another purple here. Putting a purple here is a disaster, because if it goes down, we have a single spot there, but if it goes up, now we have this little entry. So this is also purple. That's red. Huh. This is red. We need a purple in this area somewhere. Yeah, because this has to go down. This is here, and I think the puzzle is solved. It's not a bad puzzle. Probably somebody else would appreciate it more than I just did. Okay, all that's left is the grand finale puzzle, which I am going to... You know what? Fuck it. Long video. All regions... okay. At least the shapes are easy. It's just it looks like there's a lot of possibilities here. So we have L's and we have T's. I'm going to use yellow when I don't know what the shape is. So we're going to bring this out. We're going to bring that out, that out. This shape I do know. I just don't know the direction it goes. Here. Okay. This shape I know is a T shape. Or sorry, no, it's no. This shape I know, if it's a T shape, moves down. If it's an L shape, moves down. I know it goes that far. This shape could go either way. Can this shape ever go here? Yes. This shape can never get into that zone. All right, cool. That's all the logic we have for today. Join me next time. Well, let's think if we moved this L up. we would force an L shape here, which is totally fine. Nothing goes wrong with that. If we force the L shape down, we would have more L shapes. Which doesn't force anything. I need to be able to logically work out what's going on. I think the break is here. If I move this to the left, there is no possible way to fill this zone in. So I think this is our starting point, is this L here. Now, this space can move all the way there, but it's required to go down one. This piece has to move down. It can be this L just fine or this L just fine. In fact, it has to also take that space, but it is an L. It's an L piece. If it goes down, this is a T. If it goes over, this is an L. That means this is a separate piece to there. It can't move up. It can move up. Here as well, we have to have an L shape going this way. Ah, now if this piece moves up, what on earth are we going to put? No, it works. We'd have to do that. If this piece moves down and doesn't move up, what do we put in here? So if I put a border there, this L shape, or this shape here, we can't put an L because then we'd have to have a straight line, right? This has to bend here for sure. So we need to fill these 3 spaces. We already have 3 of these filled up. Therefore, this must move up. And in fact, it has to go all the way, because now if I block this, I have 2 spaces to fill. So I have this complete, and I have that complete. Gosh, I hope this logic is right. This would suck if it wasn't. We have an L shape here, which forces us to go this way. Can I do this trick anywhere else? Moving here. Moving here, moving there would be wrong. Moving here would be fine. I'm trying to think if I can force something. Well, this can't be either of these pieces here, so it must extend out. But it can't touch this piece. So it can go here and be an L just fine. But it's got to be that. This is not part of that, right? So it can move this way, or it can move this way, so we don't know. We don't know! This now has to be part of a different piece from that one. And unfortunately, we have a lot of ways to go. Same with this piece can't be part of that. But it could extend all the way over here, right? No, it can't. Because then what do I put here? Therefore, it must extend up. It's not a T piece. It could be an L shape here, or any L shape in these areas. This is a different shape from that one. This shape belongs to one of these two. Don't know which. So this shape doesn't belong to here, or there, or there. It can't move this way, because it would overload in any of these, so it must move one space over here and one space up and become this. This, therefore, is a T shape. I don't know which 2 of the 3 branches it takes, but it is a T shape. This one... Huh. This is fine. This could be a T or an L. Any other spots here? How about this piece here? We have to move down. We can move down one more space, but we can't reach that one. We can move here, make a T shape. Here and make a T shape, or be an L shape here. Not helpful, thank you. This piece can't connect to either of those. But it could be a T shape in any arrangement, really not helpful. Huh. I like crunching the logic. I don't want to put myself in a situation where I have to make a guess and then go with the guess. This doesn't cause any problems down here, right? Yeah, this doesn't cause any problems because we easily have this filled. Oops. If this is a separate piece to both of those, no, this is part of one of these two. This being a separate piece is fine. Is there any way we block this? Yes, because we can still make these work. This being an L shape has a couple avenues. Don't have an obvious move. This piece has to move down, right? Because it can't connect to that one. That causes a problem. So this piece does have to move down. Ah, so we have a T shape here. Brilliant. T shape there. Or sorry, the L shape's here. T shape goes here. It has to be. There's nothing else that fits. Means this one has to move that way. This is L shape. This one now has to be... Oh, it could be L or T, but it does have to bend this direction. This piece now does have to go down? No, it could take all of these spots, right? No. If I make this a T shape as I've done so, we now have a problem. Therefore, this piece does move downward. Huh. Oh, hold on. This is now a forced L shape. This is a forced L shape. This piece can no longer connect up here, so it's a forced L shape there. This is an L shape that's forced. This is an L shape that's forced. This is a T shape. This is an L shape. This must be an L shape. This must be a T shape. God, I hope this is right. This is a T shape, and we're good. Look at that. This is my new favorite puzzle. I think this is the best one in the game so far. Right here. That's what I'm talking about. It's a little bit easier than the other 7 puzzles I did, just because there's not as much room. But that's okay. I don't mind that it was easier than the other one I just did. Handful of jewels, adorn 5 windows. This one was harder. But there was just something really beautiful about how this one came together. So I'm gonna call that my favorite puzzle so far. And that's a good place for me to stop. So thanks so much for watching. We have gotten all the way through the first area, I guess, with all the secret puzzles. Nowhere to go but up. We'll be heading into this town area to do the rest of these shortly. So anyway, have a great day. Do whatever you want. Wait expectantly by the computer for me to upload the next video. I will see you then. Goodbye.